we are in Easton, and we're looking at 360 Wilkes-Barre, and this is where my dad lived when he was first born. Then he moved next door, and my grandfather, Joseph Settler, built both of these homes. And my dad lived here. Let's see if I can get the address here at 358 until he moved to 403 Grand Avenue. Both of these houses were built by Joseph Settler, who was a master carpenter who worked for the railroad. And the way my dad described it is Joseph Settler's wife had died, and he was basically single at that time and let his son, or his son-in-law, Philip Maneri, and his daughter, Rose, live there with their family. So we'll go up to 403 Grant a little bit and see what other treasures we can find. Dad, here we are inside your house, your old house, and this fine gentleman, Sam, has let us look at it, and that's a piece of the original clapboard. Maybe you'll recognize the color, the green, and it's just very interesting. We're out in your porch. And there's the old school over there. Fine gentleman here has let us be so great.
This is Joseph Sam.
Really? How far back does it go? We're looking at the house you moved into, Dad.
I can get it back just before the turn of the century.
Yeah, well,
First date of sale was just before 1900.
well, this one then probably was built right about then. You know, mind me interviewing you a little bit?
No, go ahead.
So you've gone back all the way to the early 1900s.
Yeah, 1899, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Was date of sale that we have.
Wow.
So,
Does it say who the original owner was?
it was sold by a gentleman named Ort in 1899.
Ort.
Yeah, O-R-T.
Very interesting.
And they, according to them, they said this was originally the Ort farm through here.
Really? That's so interesting. Wow. Well, maybe Joseph Settler bought the house from Ort,
Yeah, maybe.
and then he built the two next door. That's probably the best thing that I can come up with.
Yeah. Either that or possibly he could have built this for Mr. Ort. Who knows?
Very
I
interesting.
don't know how it worked back then.
Yeah, well, we'll check it out when we maybe do a little bit more research. Gabrielle, I'm so glad you're here. This trip's going to take us all the way to southern Italy. So you saying that on WDVR down in Surgeonsville?
Have you ever listened to Hardman's Hayride on Saturday night and you've heard Red Oak Sam? You're talking to him.
That is so wild. Do you play locally at all?
Yeah, we played last night at the American Legion down in Chester, New Jersey for the veterans.
Wow, Red Oak Sam lives in,
Cool, huh?
yeah, my great-grandfather's old house, man.
Yeah, old hillbilly musician.
I love it.
Good.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, my dad has a lot of great things to say about Southside.
Good.
And
I got no complaints with Southside.
you,
Actually, we're a little rough right now, but as far as neighbors, geez, I've been living next to Gary now for 20 years. He's one of the greatest guys I've ever met. So I'm real fortunate there.
yeah, well, Gary lives in actually where my dad moved. Mostly he lived in the middle house,
Yeah.
but it all started
Well,
here.
If he lived in the middle house, that was probably this one. Because they tell me there was a house right there where my lawn is.
Oh, so that's the story.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that house must have been knocked
And
down.
they were both owned by the same guy back around the turn of the century. And that one supposedly burnt down back in like the 70s.
Really?
So I never actually saw the house.
So this is the house then that my dad
This
grew
would
up
be the
in.
center house. And that one there would be the end house.
Okay.
You know, that one here was split in half and turned into like a two-family.
Yeah, then this was the house my dad really grew up in, and the other one burned down in the 70s.
Yep.
Wow.
That's what they tell me.
That is so interesting.
Yeah, we got the property mixed for it, but we never thought about rebuilding or anything. Matter of fact, I don't even know if I could with the, you know, whatever the codes are now.
Uh-huh.
Even if we wanted to put up another house. I'm happy with just one.
What has your music done for you over the last course of your lifetime?
I started playing in 1969. Started playing Sirius in 1988. And just recently, the Country Boys, the band that I'm with now, we managed to put out 2 CDs. So, we're making progress.
Wow, well, it's just you're really a great guy. I'm glad, so happy that you let us into your space.
And it goes until 1970, whatever, 2, 4, whatever. There was another house stood here. So this would probably be the center house.
Mm-hmm.
That was in 3 in a row. And from what I understand, that one burned down in the 70s.
Wow.
It's a nice view of the house.
Yeah, beautiful. Sit here and watch baseball games. I'd be afraid to sit on it. You know, this had the original slate roof on it until, I think, 95.
Really?
Yeah.
And then it just wore out finally.
Yeah, there was too many of them that was like dry rotted and just coming unglued. So instead of trying to have it repaired, we had the whole thing replaced.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, this house was built in Well, no, you're saying that,
The oldest date of sale that we could trace it back to was 1899.
interesting.
So,
Well, my dad's memories may not, this when he was a year old, so I'll have to review this with him.
yeah. Well, you know, if he lived in this one, they might have built this one or built that one.
Well, he said that they lived in, right where this house was, it burned down, and then they very shortly moved into this place.
Yeah.
And my dad said that Joseph Zettler built both of these properties, so I'll check into it.
Yeah.
I have to review this again. This is the house my dad primarily lived in. I was wrong. I found out that there used to be another house there that burned down in the 70s right there. And then they moved into this address. And Red Oak Sam lives there, so they live at 360 Wilkes-Barre Street. And we'll find out more about these properties. In our magic quest for the grandfather.